Breaking news here on Wednesday afternoon. Chris Paul has been waived by the Phoenix Suns. You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to go through the ramifications of the Phoenix Suns. Moving on from CP3, as he is no longer a part of the Suns and will be free to sign with whatever team he likes in NBA free agency. Then on the tail end of the show, we're going to give you my top 5 CP3 destinations, and then we'll close it out with a bonus 5, so 10 total CP3 destinations. But Chris Haynes was first on the news just a couple of minutes ago, saying the Phoenix Suns has notified star Chris Paul that he will be waived, making the future Hall of Famer one of the top free agents this offseason. And this NBA free agency class is kind of lackluster, and the addition of Chris Paul will definitely add some spice to it, as I'm sure he'll be looking to go to a contender and finally get that so-coveted ring in his long, storied NBA career. And he's been in the NBA for 19 seasons, or will be once the season starts in September, which will be here sooner than you all realize. He was limited to 59 regular season games this year due to injury, which has been somewhat of a recurring theme for him throughout his NBA career. And are the Lakers a team that could have a lot of interest in LeBron and get another banana boat member to LA? LA needs a point guard, no doubt about it. And we'll talk about the Lakers coming up. But with CP3 being a free agent, the teams that I think he's going to be interested in are teams that can still compete for a Larry OB. And that's because CP3, he still wants to compete for that. Playing just 59 games like we talked about, had a handful of injuries this past year. Still a solid season, no doubt about it. 14 points per game, 9 assists. Anytime you average 14 points and 9 assists, you're going to be happy with your point guard's production. Still a very efficient player as well. 44% from the field, 37.5% from downtown. Not nearly the same on-ball defender he once was, but he's still a very good point guard. But you can see over the last 4 seasons, his production has gone down every single year. In 2019, he was averaging 17.5 points per game. In 2020, down to 16.5. In 2021, down to 14.5. And this past year, just 14. But also, you see the games played going down each single season. He played 140 games in the 2019 and 2020 season. But in 2021, that went down to 65. And then in 2022, down to 59. And then in the playoffs this year, his time got cut short due to another injury. So maybe the Suns are looking to get younger at that point guard spot. So I want to ask this question before we get rolling with the destinations for CP3. What is your one-word reaction to the Suns waiving Chris Paul? You guys are always fun and creative in the comment section. So let me know your one-word reaction to the Suns waiving Chris Paul. And make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because we're going to keep you guys up to date all summer long with the latest NBA news, NBA rumors, trade rumors, free agency rumors. We're going to be live for the NBA draft. We're going to be live for NBA free agency. And we're going to let you know, once Chris Paul signs with the team, we're going to have a video here on the channel. So subscribe to the channel and help us get to 400,000 subs. The top destination I have for Chris Paul is the Los Angeles Lakers. I believe the Lakers and Chris Paul are a perfect marriage at this point. And this won't be the first time we've talked about LeBron and Chris Paul playing together, and especially Chris Paul going to the Lakers. David Stern, rest in peace. He can't block it this time. And this seems like the obvious fit. The Lakers, they fell short in the playoffs to the Denver Nuggets. And I'm not sure that Chris Paul is the cherry that'll put the Lakers over the top, but they definitely have a glaring need at that point guard spot. D'Angelo Russell is a good player, fine player, no doubt about that. But he wasn't enough for the Lakers to really get past probably the best team in the NBA. Not saying Chris Paul is, but he would fit that void at that point guard spot better, in my opinion. And look, it's banana boat time. LeBron, he's played with Dwayne Wade. LeBron has played with Carmelo Anthony. We know that those guys are all best friends. And the banana boat crew, the final missing piece is Chris Paul. And I believe this year, Chris Paul will sign with the Los Angeles Lakers, and he will finish his career in LA with the purple and gold, playing alongside his good buddy, LeBron James. If for whatever reason it is not the Los Angeles Lakers, I think the Philadelphia 76ers are another team that could really intrigue good old Chris Paul, because one, they have maybe one of the top players in the NBA in Joel Embiid at that center spot. And if James Harden ends up leaving Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, to go back to H-Town, play with the Rockets, and get those jerseys out of retirement in the strip clubs, the 76ers are going to need a point guard. And maybe a veteran and a big brother and just an older guy with some wisdom could really help out a young and sometimes foolish Joel Embiid. New head coach in Nick Nurse, and I think that they could be looking for kind of a big brother figure in that locker room. I think Chris Paul to the 76ers makes a lot of sense on a lot of different fronts. We've given you 2 destinations so far, but maybe you don't think it'll be either of those teams. So I want to ask you guys to answer this question for me down in the comment section. Where will Chris Paul sign? Predict it for me. Give me your votes down below. What about a reunion with the Los Angeles Clippers? Obviously, Chris Paul made a lot of money and a lot of memories with the Los Angeles Clippers, and them going to a new arena coming up, new front office. Could it be time for him to go home and maybe retire with the LA Clippers? Never was able to bring that ring back to the Clippers. Maybe alongside Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, if they could stay healthy, he could be the missing piece. It always seems, though, like the Clippers are just a point guard away. We saw them make kind of a desperate dive last year going after Russell Westbrook, and he actually played pretty well for the Clippers. And I wouldn't be shocked if Russell Westbrook is back with the Los Angeles Clippers. But if you had to ask yourself, if you're a Clippers fan watching, would you rather have Russell Westbrook or would you rather have Chris Paul? And honestly, it's a tough question, but I would roll with Chris Paul because he's a guy that, 1, I can trust, 2, a guy that I believe can play still, and someone that I want on the court in the fourth quarter, unlike Westbrook, who is a great player, no doubt about it. I just think that his time in the NBA could be coming up, whereas I think Chris Paul could really still be a difference maker for the Los Angeles Clippers. If it's not the Lakers, if it's not the 76ers or the Clippers, what about the Dallas Mavericks? We've heard some rumors over the last couple of days that Kyrie Irving is recruiting LeBron James to the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think that actually has a shot at all. But if Kyrie Irving really wants to play with LeBron James and he goes to the Lakers, the Mavs may need a Kyrie Irving replacement. And we've seen when Luka Doncic is at his best, where last year they went to the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, you want Luka on ball, but he needed some of that grown-up type of player like Jalen Brunson in the backcourt, and I think that Chris Paul could provide that same type of stability. Nowhere near is Chris Paul the scorer that Jalen Brunson is or was with the Dallas Mavericks. Brunson took that big leap, no doubt about it, but I think having a point guard that could be a guy that Luka could look up to and respect as he has to, as Chris Paul is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, I think CP3 and Luka in Dallas can make a whole lot of sense. The Mavericks, I think, could be a good destination. But what about the Boston Celtics? We've seen the Boston Celtics be so close over and over and over again, losing in Game 7 this year in the Eastern Conference Finals, coming up just short last year against the Golden State Warriors. I think the Boston Celtics need a true floor general if they are going to run back the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Too many turnovers between those two guys. I like Marcus Smart. I don't know if he is a true point guard. And I sometimes think that they lack a little bit of leadership. You saw Al Horford time and time again sitting in Joe Mazzulo's seats in the timeouts in the playoffs. But would it be better if Chris Paul was in that seat, coaching up a young guy like Jaylen Brown, helping out Jason Tatum get to that superstar level and getting that ring back to Boston? I think CP3 in Boston is a strong destination and one that I'm definitely keeping my eyes on. Pretty soon, you'll be able to bet on the next CP3 destination with our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet, and remember to use the promo code CHAT125, and they're going to hook you guys up with a 125% deposit bonus. You can bet on anything over there because we've got your game at BetUS, and you can even lay some cheddar on the line for the NBA Finals. Game 3 is tonight. The Nuggets enter as 3.5-point favorites. The total over-under is at 213.5. I'm going to take the Nuggets minus 3.5. I think that they're going to win tonight, and I think they might do it pretty easily. But you can make your own picks or ride with mine over on BetUS. Just use this link and this promo code to get hooked up with a 125% deposit bonus. Kind of some bonus CP3 destinations. I think the Brooklyn Nets are a team to keep your eye out on. They have a whole bunch of young pieces, and I think a veteran point guard could help those guys like Mikal Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nick Claxton, and Cam Johnson. What about the Miluwakee Bucks? If they're unable to bring back a guy like Chris Middleton, maybe they look to move Drew Holiday to the 2 and have Chris Paul be that true point guard. I think the Raptors are a team that you could look at as well. They're going to have a new head coach here pretty soon after Nick Nurse just signed with the Philadelphia 76ers to be their new signal caller. But I think they still have a lot of good pieces there, and I think a point guard could help them elevate, especially if Fred VanVleet leaves and the rumors are true that he could be at Philadelphia 76ers. I'm keeping my eyes on the Washington Wizards as well. We know about Bradley Beal. It sounds like they want to bring back Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis. So what about a team of Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, and Kristaps Porzingis? That's pretty intriguing to me. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think, could be a dark horse. Mike Conley, we saw him have a really good playoffs with the Timberwolves, but maybe they want to go in a different direction and a different veteran point guard. Keep your eyes on these 5 teams as well. I do know this, though. Chris Paul wants to go play for a winner. He doesn't want to go play for a team, let's say like the Detroit Pistons or the San Antonio Spurs or the Houston Rockets or the New Orleans Pelicans anymore. He wants to go finish his career where he can chase that ring, and he deserves that. And he also deserves to go out on a healthy note. Chris Paul has always been a player that I have looked at and been a fan of from afar. I respect his game, I respect his hustle, and I respect the way that he plays this game. Unfortunately, the injuries have really slowed him down, especially in the later part of his career, and he deserves to go out healthy. I believe he's going to sign with the Lakers, and it'd be pretty cool to see LeBron and CP3 go out on top. I appreciate everyone, as always, for tuning in to NBA Now by Chat Sports. We're going to continue to put out videos every single day on the NFL, NBA, college football. You know what we're talking about here on Chat Sports. So make sure if you made it this far in the video, I want you guys to hit that thumbs up icon to let us know you want more content like this.